Hi, friends. This is Wendy Harrop, and welcome to the Say Yes to Yourself podcast. On the Say Yes to Yourself podcast, you'll hear stories from women just like us who are adding the practice of saying yes in their daily lives in big and small ways, and as a result, are experiencing the truth that everybody wins when you say yes to yourself. Saying yes to yourself is a graceful unfolding, an intentional becoming of the very best version of you. It is my hope that in these conversations, we are able to find our truth and be inspired and empowered to live our very best lives. I'm so excited to go on this journey with you, and I look forward to finding a bit of our own story in each other's. Hello, friend. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so happy to have you here. How are you doing? How are you feeling in all of this Lunar New Year fire horse energy? We are moving. I can't believe how much energy and momentum I feel. Are you feeling it? Is it just because I'm seeing it everywhere? What's happening? I'm very excited. I have 3,000 ideas, which I know that doesn't come as a shock to you, but I'm also feeling so much clarity in the direction of all of these fabulous ideas and all of these expansive ways to share this message of saying yes to ourselves and how encompassing it is and how all the people that are in my care are getting even better care because I'm saying yes to myself. It's this divine math that I am here for. It's all so good. And a part of this fast moving momentum has me traveling so much this year, which I know I've been telling you about, but we are getting close to the days that I leave for the first of these many trips. And I feel like once I get into the second week of March, that it's just going to be November the next time I'm sitting at my desk. That's not true, but it feels like that. There's so much fun happening in 2026, and I am so excited. And as you know, I am moving around the world with such gorgeous intention, and I am inviting you to join me in some of those places. So if you are already going to be on vacation and it happens to be one of the cities that I'm going to be in, I'm inviting you to join me for a half-day workshop, a space to dream, global yummy experience where we will be together. We will be in a beautiful, inspiring space. We will be identifying these gorgeous dreams that are in your heart. We're going to get some water and sunshine on them and create a plan for integration and implementation and just intentional, inspired action. It's all so good. And there's so much to the pattern interrupt in holding this space for yourself to dream, to identify what the next version of you looks like, feels like, dances like, all those good things. So if that sounds fun to you and you have space in your itinerary for spending a few hours with me, I would love that. But also, if you want something longer and more luxurious, I will be in Edinburgh July 6th through the 10th. So we've got the Castle and Gardens trip, which is as magical and fabulous as it sounds. And then we also have a very fun cooking school experience at the end of August. So August 27th to September 2nd, we will be in Normandy at an immersive cooking school experience. At the end of our time together, you will have a certificate of completion. Like, this is a yes chef situation, but we are going to make, I say but because that feels a little scary to me. But I do know Chef Eric, and he's fantastic, and he is going to encourage us to step out of our culinary comfort zone and create magic. And he is going to show us how it's done. And I cannot wait for this opportunity. So, Edinburgh, it's just for the ladies, but the cooking school experience is for couples or anyone traveling solo. I would love to have you. So, links are down in the show notes, but also you can send me an email, hello@phineaswrighthouse.com. Ask me any questions that you have about these trips, and I would be happy to hold space for you as you hold space for yourself on one of these wonderful global opportunities. Okay. Today's guest is so freaking cool. I love her so much. From the moment that her assistant pitched her to me to be on the podcast, I loved her. And we started following each other on Instagram that same day. And we found out that we both just happened to be in Paris, which was also so fun. And then I had this gorgeous conversation with her. And as we were chatting, I remembered that I was going to be in New York soon. And we immediately put something on the calendar. And then we played when I was in New York in December. And oh my gosh, she's so cool. We were meeting for drinks and it ended up being like 4.5 hours. So I know that you are also going to love her. In fact, the world loves her. Today we have Bianca D'Alessio. She is the star of HBO Max's acclaimed series, Selling the Hamptons. She's the top-ranked real estate broker in both New York City and state, and the founder of one of the highest producing brokerage teams in the US. She oversees a $10 billion international real estate portfolio and writes weekly columns in Money Magazine. As an author of Mastering Intentions, Bianca shares the practices that transformed her life, empowering others to align who they are and how they lead, and to build a future that they're proud of. I love her. I know you are going to love her. I cannot wait to share this fabulous conversation with Bianca D'Alessio. Beautiful Bianca. I have already decided that this is one of my favorite conversations, and you are one of my favorite people. It's so fun. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me on. The sentiment is so mutual. I'm so excited to be here.
Isn't it fun when we can connect with people and really feel that exact thing, feel a connection? We've never really, I mean, we've never spoken to each other.
No.
We've traded some DMs after your team contacted my
Yeah.
team because we're so fancy. And
Yeah.
then we found out we were both in Paris at the same time as we were being connected. So it's like, oh, of course we're connected.
I know I'm such an energy person, and I just really believe in like those signs from the universe and that people coming out of your life. And when you have that connection, when you meet people, and there's just that like natural synergy just off the bat, it means something great's going to happen. So,
I totally agree. I feel like we're just in the flow of this fast moving stream,
mhm.
and it doesn't take effort if we're doing it right and not
We're in
even holding
alignment, right?
on to the
Yeah.
oars
hmm
exactly, then it's so great. And then all these people come into our experience. We're like, of course I'm meeting you. Of course this is happening. Of course my flight is upgraded. Of course this hotel room is available. All of these things that are important to us, even, besides fabulous flights and hotel rooms. But,
Yeah.
of course the electrician can come tomorrow. And yes,
I know. It's just things have a way of working out, and it's unbelievable. And I've been at periods in time in my life where that hasn't been the case. And then like you make the switch and then all of a sudden it's like, wow. So this is like what people talk about of living in alignment and being grounded and being aware and the importance. I mean, I've always been a very positive mindset person,
mhm.
but like when it everything starts to connect. It's something like so spiritually beautiful
Yes.
that just everything around you, things move differently.
Right. And there's ease.
Yes, yes.
We think like to get these things to happen, to check these boxes, that it's going to be effort. It takes intention. It takes determination. It takes motivation. It actually takes intention, which is
Yep.
correct. And
Hmm.
then that trust and surrender that allows us to hear
Yep.
however it is that we hear, whether
Hmm.
that's journaling or meditating or however, some people, nature, whatever. It still requires action, but
Hmm.
it's inspired action.
Totally. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. But, and I love that you said the word ease because I think of that now that I feel such ease in my life. But that came out of like so many periods of time of like intense difficulty. And I'm sure
Right.
you felt the same.
Yeah.
That like we have these seasons of life. You don't just arrive at ease. It can't
Right.
start at ease. Like you need to have the growth out of all of the things not working out and the hardship and building that resilience for having that like profound shift with your
Yes.
mind.
Yes. And it's that contrast that help
Hmm.
when we know what we don't want, we know more clearly what we do want.
Yep.
It's, I grew up in California and now I live in New England. This idea, I mean, it's not an idea of seasons. In
Yeah.
California, it was a concept or an idea. Fall was a decision I made. It wasn't
Yeah.
something that was happening. But here, there are these transitions. And because it's moving and because it's not the same every day, there is such an appreciation and joy and pause in weather conditions or what the trees are doing or just what the air feels like and how
Yep.
things are moving. It's very fascinating.
So 100% for sure.
Yay. Well, I am very eager to hear, how are you saying yes to yourself in this season?
Gosh. You're getting me at a perfect time. So I started my business 4 years ago and
That's amazing, by the way.
thank
Thank you, because I thought you were
you.
going to say 24 years ago.
No, no, no. So I've been in real estate for about a decade, a little over a decade now, but I started my company 4 years ago. And like all business owners, when you start, like the chaos, the craziness, what it means to be a first time founder and an entrepreneur, like you don't know what you don't know. If most people knew what you'd be getting into, they would say no. They would
That's
not say yes
correct.
to that. But it was like 18 months after starting the business and like I felt so depleted. I was
Mm,
getting all of, rankings and awards and notability and top lists, but like in myself, like I didn't feel that ease. I felt
mm.
empty. I felt isolated. I felt super alone. And people were turning to me and trying to have conversations with me. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't have anything to talk about besides my business. And then I thought to myself, like, I am so uninteresting. So I started dancing.
Fun.
I know. And I took a break from it for the past few months, but I'm actually going back today. Because I'm like, why did I ever stop? Oh, because life got busy. But no, like I need to say yes to myself. And I actually had this conversation with myself yesterday. I'm like, I don't care. Like we're going into the holidays and I have holiday dinners. I need to prioritize my dance every week.
Right.
And like I love that. So I'm saying yes to dancing.
I'm so obsessed.
Thank you. I have so much fun doing it. And I call it my therapy
Hmm.
because it truly is like time to be quiet and just focus on like my mind body alignment and the way my feet are moving, the way my brain is thinking. I'm also giving myself permission and
Mm,
and and I'm giving myself permission to change the way I define success because I think I had been so rigid in what I was seeking from my business of, I need to grow this amount and have this amount of people and do these amount of projects. And I'm taking a step back to, like feeling liberated and being
mm.
able to make whatever decision I want at a point in time and feel good about it and work with great people. Like I'm giving myself that permission to say, like, the way I've defined success for the past 30 years may not be the way I define success today, and that's okay. because I won't hold
Right.
myself to that measuring stick. I'm looking at myself into like I have so much more perspective now than I've
Right.
had before. That's a lot. So that's how I'm saying yes.
Oh, it's so beautiful. And I love even the last thing you said about allowing yourself to
Mhm.
redefine. It's appropriate to redefine. 30
Absolutely.
years is a really long time to be committed to a narrative that
Yes.
has not been edited.
Totally. For sure.
Right? Like,
Yes.
I'm not even the same woman on Thursday afternoons that I was on Thursday mornings after having these gorgeous, expansive conversations.
Yep.
So I love this permission
Hmm.
to write the story that is our intention for today,
Hmm.
and then write a new one that's our intention for this
Yes.
afternoon, and then write a new one that's our intention for tonight. And it's not scattered. It's not, oh, I'm all over the place or I can't figure out what I want. It is actually alignment.
Hmm.
And alignment is not, in my experience, not something that you just get and then you have it. It's in the moment and it changes. Sometimes I want a beautiful roast chicken over bread and arugula salad for dinner. And sometimes I want potato chips and a gin and tonic for dinner. And like being in, like listening to myself and giving myself permission for what feels right now.
Hmm.
Of course, it's, a great practice when
Hmm.
you're trying to figure out what's for dinner, but it's works in my business. It works
Hmm.
in women that are being introduced to me to be on the podcast or women that are interested in collaborating on trips or going on trips. I get to have these focused, intentional decision making meetings with myself
Yep.
multiple times a day.
Yeah, I love that because like inherently in order to find alignment, like in order to be aligned, you need to recalibrate. And so the
Yes.
thought of recalibration and how you change your mindset around and your relationship with recalibrating, like that's a muscle memory
Yes.
born out of needing to, for me, it wasn't, I wanted to realign. It was, I'm being forced to, okay, how do I act? How do I move? How do I be swift? But now all of a sudden, once you have that tool in the toolbox, it's like, okay, I just learned this new, fascinating, incredible thing. And I think that serves me more than what I knew 2 weeks ago or a year ago or 5 years ago. That perspective is such incredible knowledge and power, and there's beauty in being able to make that decision.
Yes. Yes. And it does take practice. We're
Yes.
exercising this muscle. And to also understand, we had a Say Yes Summit in 2025, and our theme for June was permission.
Hmm.
And one of the women that spoke, and I can't remember who exactly said this, but they were talking about the concept of rest
Hmm.
being strategic.
Love
It's
that.
not that I'm weak
Hmm.
and I'm tired, or it's not
Yep.
that I'm overworked and I'm tired. It's I am being strategic and
Hmm.
taking care of my vessel, but also taking a beat and checking in of what is my inspired action for the next project or even the next hour.
Absolutely. I believe in that so much because I think it's so easy to get into the cycle of like one project, one activity, go, 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 especially if that's your personality. Because
Yeah,
there's people who
mine.
have that person, right? Mine too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like, okay, we did this, next checkbox, this. It's like, okay, how about before we act and go so fast, which is a superpower all on its own,
Totally.
taking that moment of like, let's just scan the room. Let's just like let my brain go from like 100, like down, like to resting mode.
Right. Which is like 82,
Yeah.
but still, like I'm with you. Do you know your human design?
Oh, I'm working through it right now.
So fun. What are you?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I have it right over there. And I'm like going through these. I took it yesterday, but like today we have
How
like,
fun.
I know, I'm like, I'm in real time with all of the things we're talking about. Talk
That's
about
so
alignment.
fun. I'm a generator. I'm
Okay.
assuming that you're a manifesting generator.
I think I'm a manifest. Yes, it was a manifesting generator.
Yeah,
Yes.
I knew that about you. So like you have the ideas
Yep.
and you have the staying power of the
Yep.
generator to work them out.
Yep.
I'm a generator, so I have the ideas. My staying power can sometimes, in the shadow side of
Okay.
my generatorness, I can stay with something past its expiration date.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's where my alignment is coming in. I don't question things that I'm starting.
Hmm.
I'm putting more intention around what is it time to complete with.
Yes. How is that working for you?
Oh my gosh, what a great question. Thank you for asking. Um, I had a woman on the show. Let's see, her episode aired at the beginning of November, and I actually felt bad for the listener because I had the conversation in June,
Hmm.
and she was talking about, she's a numerologist, and she was talking about how 2025 is a 9 year, and in numerology, nine is a year of completion. So if there are things that you are on the fence about, if you have interest in them or not, and you don't complete by the end of the year, it will be in your energetic baggage for 9 more years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. And if she said a lot of amazing things. Her name's Dina Barron, and she said so many fabulous things. And I've listened to that episode so many times. But the one takeaway was that. And it put me on a several month process of going through my closet, my shoe closet,
Oh
all of
boy.
my drawers, my attic, my craft room, my farm, my address book, my like all of these things. And I'm a flower farmer also. I have a historic bed and breakfast in New England, and I grew peonies and dahlias. Well,
Wow.
now I only grow peonies because
Wow.
dahlias are a lot of work, and
Yeah.
they require so much attention, and you have to dig them out in the fall,
Uh-huh.
like all the things, and then they bloom when I'm in France. So
Oh,
it
that just
doesn't
doesn't
make
work.
no,
Doesn't
but
work.
the story I told myself about this is they require a lot of work, but I can do it and I know how to do it. And people like that I grow dahlias. Like,
What? Yeah.
who cares?
Then they
But
should dig them up.
totally. And it's not that the people were wrong, it's that that narrative was going
Hmm.
unchecked and it was on repeat. And then I had my dear friend Sharon come. She helps women define what their next chapter is going to look like. And I finalized a very long divorce process in 2025 as well. So we're in a big,
Rebirth. Yeah.
yeah, it's so good, reinvention, fabulous magic happening over here.
I
And
love
so
it.
she helps, women identify what this next chapter looks like. And then she's has an interior design degree from UCLA, and she comes to your house and creates the spaces that support the woman you're becoming.
I love this.
Right? It's all so good. So that also came with a lot of shifts in my home. And
Hmm.
so I feel this year, 2026, is just poised. I am poised for presence because that I've never said those words before. I have to write that down.
I love that. I
I
love.
am poised for presence because the distractions that I've
Mm.
allowed to be a part of my day to day and almost prove my worthiness by
Hmm.
how hard I've worked and how I figured this out. And I run this property on my own and I'm
Yep.
such a badass, blah, 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 like all the things.
Yep.
And that does not have to be my story anymore.
No.
And it's totally fine. And I was telling you all of that to say one of the rooms that she redid, I was sleeping in this giant solid wooden bed that my
Mhm.
ex-husband built.
Oh.
And I know, right? It's like crazy. People are like, I'm sorry, is that Wendy Harrop? Like, that doesn't sound like her at all. But I had this idea because when he built it, he said, this is so heavy. Like, this thing is never leaving this room. And
Yep.
even though a few years later he left that room, and
Yep.
then a few years later, it's all still here. And I really thought that that
You couldn't
wasn't
leave the
even an
room.
option.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I know.
I love this for you so
Thank
much.
you. It's so fun. And it's
Oh,
just great to have beautiful people.
I just have to say, like, I
Please.
know you don't need me to say this, but I'm
No,
proud
I
of
do.
you.
I need it all.
I'm
I need
so
everyone. Thank
I'm
you.
so proud of you.
I love you.
That's such an
Thanks.
incredible shift for you and in your life and that awareness. And like it's making those intentional decisions of like, I'm doing this for me and I want this for me. And I'm taking back control and power of things that maybe we felt powerless over because we're strong and independent and
Mhm.
fierce forces of women. But sometimes like we feel powerless in a certain arena of our life. And I love that you were like owning that, claiming that and just level setting for what the next chapter looks like. So I'm so
Oh,
excited for you. I'm sorry. I just
received,
had to get that off
received,
my chest.
received. Never apologize for something gorgeous like that. God, thank you. And it wasn't even, I was not even cognizant of the
Mhm,
way I was handing my power over to
mhm.
somebody who doesn't care and is
Yep.
not even going into that bank account where all my power's been
Yeah.
depositing into his account, and he's not even like doesn't need it. And I've told that story so many times because it's so ridiculous, and everybody has a big giant bed that they think can't be taken out somewhere in their mindset.
Mhm.
And it just it it was an unbelievable experience to watch it be disassembled and removed and then put on Facebook Marketplace, and some
Yeah.
dude came and got it and tried to like
Bye.
make a deal, and I was like, "Nope.
Yep.
You may take this or leave it. Doesn't matter." He's like, "I'll take it." And then
Yeah.
it just felt like, "Oh my gosh, the big ass bed has left the building."
Yes.
Oh, it it created so much more space than the footprint of a king size bed.
Wow, that's amazing. That's unbelievable. And I love that you're talking about this because I've had a similar ending of a relationship of a chapter and starting over.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That process of redefining myself, of the way that I thought I was showing up in the world, like once I was able to, and it wasn't a bad relationship, it just wasn't the right relationship,
Right.
which almost made it harder because I was like,
Totally.
I need to be selfish. And I'm not, I
Yeah.
don't define myself as a selfish person, but like, I
No,
know
you
this
need to
isn't,
be happy.
yes, yes.
Don't let's we can shift. Let's not
Yeah.
ever tell that
Thank you.
story again using
Yeah.
the word selfish.
Yes, I love
Yes.
see, we're
Yeah.
constantly redefining and reshaping, and it's
Mhm.
how are we living in the story that exists in our head, no matter how we're showing up in the world, like, we're programmed for these
Right.
stories, and so I love that, but, like, yeah, I wasn't able to say, "I'm making this decision for me to be happy." It was just
Right.
something was not right,
Right.
and once I made that change, and it took and, like, I never want to discredit the period of time it took to come out of
Right.
that and the healing, and there was no trauma to overcome. It was just
Yeah,
reshifting how I saw myself and what
exactly.
that looked like for me. Like, everything changed. My
Right.
relationship with myself, my relationship with my business, my colleagues, the way I was showing up in the world, the way I was traveling, and the perspective that I had, and so that's such an important part, like, who you're with in your romantic relationships, in your personal relationships, really, really has a tremendous impact for how you show up in business, how you show up in the workplace, how you show up in the universe.
Right.
It all goes back to that energy thing.
It's so gorgeous, and I love the way that you honored the time. that it
Mm-hmm.
took to complete.
Yep.
I had a similar experience in before I informed my husband that we were complete. I sat in the question of my marriage for about 9 months. And what I realized on the other side of it was that was me exercising that muscle of alignment. And
Mm-hmm.
I had that belief in myself and desire for happiness and freedom and joy in myself. And although the conversation was courageous,
Mm-hmm.
I believe that my courage set both of us free. And he is now, although that would not have been his choice,
Mm-hmm.
eh, he was making that choice every day, but that's a whole nother show.
Yeah. Yeah.
It actually, he is now free. He is now happy, and he's
Yes.
free to be as happy as he decides to be. But liberation is a two-way street. And anything that we're ready to complete with, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job, whether it's a pair of pants that's yelling at us from our closet, whatever it is for the good of both parties.
Yes. I could not agree more. And it's the time. It's the time
Mhm.
and having the perspective and the willingness to work on yourself. And that's why I love conversations like these so much is like when people get it and they're willing to put the work in, like none of it was easy. None of those decisions you made were easy decisions and they took a lot of work. But once you start to do it, after having that experience, now I'm like so much more aware of the relationships, that not just from every relationship
Right.
I want in my life. Out
Yes.
of that has come, I'm now with the most incredible, beautiful partner I could ever imagine
Yay.
in a totally different way that I ever would have expected it to be because like I'm just I'm aware. I'm so aware.
You're showing up for yourself in a
Yes.
different way.
Mhm.
So you are partnered in a
Yep.
different way.
Yep.
Oh my
Absolutely.
gosh, Queen. It's so good.
It's so good.
Congratulations. Oh
Thank
my
you.
gosh. Okay. All of this fabulousness and a book.
Yes.
Tell us all about it.
So, gosh, this book, writing for me, I started writing when I was very young as just a form of communication because I had grown up to say, like, bury it in, be super stoic, don't let people know what you're thinking and feeling. And that manifested in a lot of unhealthy behaviors, as you could
Sure.
imagine. So I started writing, and I never knew what the story was that I wanted to tell. But then a few years ago, I was on a TV show, Selling the Hamptons on HBO, and I had this incredible opportunity. The TV show came at right after one of the most difficult points of my personal life.
Hmm.
And it forced me to be vulnerable outwardly and openly for the first
Yeah.
time. And that was such a incredible experience because I started to get comfortable actually sharing and telling my story, which was wildly uncomfortable to share.
I have chills
Yeah, thank you.
because
Yeah,
it's so beautiful what we think is, if I say these things out loud, I'll be crushed. And
yep.
instead, you find you're supported and more connected with people.
Totally. I had been operating in the universe with this black cloud behind me, and I like didn't want to be revealed or exposed because what would people think? And that this moment would define who I was today and my future success. And what I realized by owning it, by being vulnerable about it, by being authentic about it, the way that I started connecting with people changed dramatically because they started embracing their own vulnerability. And when you start to come together and have real, authentic, vulnerable conversations, it's like, let's cut the fluff, like who are
Totally.
you as a person? That
Right.
connection. I mean, for most people, it takes years to build that kind of trust, that kind of honesty. And so it became huge for me. But anyway, so the show came to me. And so I'm like, great, now's my time to tell a story. And it started as a real estate sales book. So I had written about half of the book, real estate sales practices, teachings. And I got to the midway point. I'm like, this is boring. Honestly, I may do this all the time, but like, this isn't the story I want to tell. I want to help. What has made me a great salesperson? What has made
Mm.
me successful in these different arenas? And what was the key turning point to all of it? It was the vulnerability aspect. It was the
Wow.
connection, vulnerability, authenticity. That's the heart of sales. So, like,
Yes.
that's part of the story. But the full story is, how do you help people get to where they are today to show up in their life
Yeah.
and set them free from the traumas and the stories and the experiences that they think shape and define them, and say, that is a part of my story that has informed where I am today, but that does not define where I want to go. I get to change the narrative at any point in time. I get to I am the writer of my story in real time. And so that's what the book's about.
Oh, so
And
good.
thank you. Thank you. So it's part storytelling, my experience, how I have shifted and changed and redefined my relationship with those experiences, but then also tangible practices, because I didn't want it to just be about me, but how do you actually work through those exercises? So it's almost like part workbook, part memoir to help the reader through their story.
Oh my gosh, I love it so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's really great. Now, what do you feel is coming as a result of this? How are you connecting with the people that are being impacted by this? Because there's something about that level of vulnerability
Mhm.
and the knowledge and desire that connection is a result of that, that I would imagine that you also want to connect with
Totally.
the people that are moved by the work. So what is that looking like for you?
So, you know, it's funny how it all plays out.
Isn't it? It's like there's a plan.
Yeah, yes, but it's like being revealed in real time. So when I
Exactly.
started my real estate company 4 years ago, I was like, I want to help people buy homes. I want to help my team take control over their professional career and have financial ownership over their lives. And so this
Mm,
this idea of like helping and building teams and communities
right.
is the central theme in all of it, right? Now I look at the book. What am I doing? What is happening with the book? And it's the same thing, just on a
Yeah,
different scale, not in a specific industry. So there is no silo to where it exists. And so it's having these conversations and recognizing, for every conversation I have, it doesn't matter where you are at any point in time in life, your lowest point, your highest point. First of all, when you're at your highest point, and because I've been there, you could lose it all in any single second, and never taking that for granted. Life changes so fast. At your lowest point, also recognizing how I have been at my lowest point in my life and how I've defined it, and how you could change it, turn it all around. And like, that low moment is the catalyst for the greatness that will come to exist
that's right.
if you own it.
That's right.
And so I want to help people see that. I want people to embrace that. And so those are so many of the conversations I'm having. It doesn't matter where you show up in the world, it doesn't matter what your religion is, your ethnicity is, where you live. Like, that's just human nature.
Right.
That's the single thing that connects all of us. And that is just so incredible. Like,
Yes.
ah, and so I love that. And that's what I'm hoping continues to come out of it and blossoms out of it, that more people have these conversations and that they get to experience the scary component of vulnerability, because it is scary, but then see that on the other side, after that, after practicing sharing your story and leaning into it and the discomfort you'll feel, it opens up so many other pathways in your life for
Yes.
your relationship with discomfort, because life is
Mm,
uncomfortable.
mm.
How do you learn to manage those uncomfortable moments?
Well, right. The discomfort comes with the expansion. If
Yes,
you are not uncomfortable, you are not growing.
absolutely.
And it's
Mhm.
that contrast that, again, when we know what we don't want, we know more clearly what we do want. And
Mhm.
it's this balance of expansion and freedom and joy and
Yes.
expansion and
Mhm.
freedom and joy, and this circular way of continuing to look at these things And, as you mentioned, sharing the story, I think something that is also important and what I have found is I have a bunch of stories, right? And I'm a pretty good storyteller and I can make it funny and I know like when to pause so you because they're going to laugh and all of the
Mhm.
things. But if I am telling a story about something that I don't want to continue, I need to tell a different story. And it is talking about the things that I desire. Like I tell the story about the bed because it was unlocking the woman I'm becoming. If I tell the story of how, what caused me to want to complete with my marriage, like that is about a woman that I was. I'll talk about the strength of choosing myself. I'll talk about the dedication to my morning practice, which gave me the strength to do the scary thing and the every single day scary thing since.
Yep.
I can talk about that, but I don't need to talk about what my experience was that is not an element of where I'm going.
Yes.
Like, I think it's important to take the path that we've gone on, but
Mhm.
that
Yep.
stuff is in the rearview mirror. Like, let's
Uh-huh.
look out the windshield. Let's
Yep.
get, like, who are you becoming?
Yep.
Not at the, blazing so fast you're not paying attention, but not being stuck.
I love that you bring that up because and I wanna just dive deeper into it because, like,
Please.
there's parts of all of our story that we're not proud of.
Right.
Like, right? Like,
Yeah.
I look at my personal, my professional journey, and there's points in time I'm like, "Oh, I did not like that version of myself.
Mhm.
I'm not proud of her, but, like, I was her." And you know what? I don't need to keep living in that space, but, like,
Right.
people will have a relationship with who I was at that specific point in time, and that
Mhm.
will be their definition of me.
Right.
And you know what? That's their decision to have. And you know what? That's okay. But,
Yeah.
like, I think about that when I come into contact with other people too, is like, I am we're just all crossing paths at different
Yes.
points in time, and
Right.
everyone is on their own growth journey however long they want that to be or wherever point they are in time, like, and we need to give people the grace for where they are on the journey. That's
Yes.
why I love having these conversations because you get to see so clearly where someone's mindset and their mentality is for that journey and that process and recognize that and lean into that. And I think a lot of people get stuck when they're sharing their story on like the version who they were 6 versions ago.
Right.
And, like,
Right.
the progress doesn't have to be monumental, but, like,
Mhm.
recognize that we're making progress every single day. You know, we're moving in one direction or another. It could be great. It could also not be great. And when
Right.
it's not great, you do have the ability to course correct, and then you start over again, and you take the time, and
Absolutely.
you own it.
Yes, and we are constantly in motion. So even if
Yes.
someone feels stuck, it's just because they're recreating the same thing over and over and over, but there's still momentum
Mhm.
and the freedom is a decision away.
Yep.
We just make a different choice and
Mhm.
then take the action that supports that new choice and then really not fall into the habit of going back and telling that story. Sometimes we want to say, like, tell it like it is.
Mhm.
And I could, all of my listeners know I want to buy a chateau in France. And sometimes I feel like after I say that, I need to qualify it by, okay, everybody, I don't have the bank account that says I can do this right now. Otherwise, I would be saying, I just bought a chateau in France. Like it would
Yeah.
be a different story. So I don't have to qualify my desire to make somebody else understand exactly what every step of my path. I mean, ladies,
That would be
come on.
exhausting. Yes.
It's
It
exhausting. It
was.
is exhausting. And the mistakes that we made, we were all doing the best we could with the tools that we had. Those did not define us. And we are just going forward.
Mhm.
Let's go.
I love everything that you're saying. I'm like,
I love
give me
you.
more, give me more.
I'm so excited that we're going to play in New York.
I know.
Oh my gosh. I knew the moment we were connected and then realized we were both in Paris that this was not going to be our only conversation.
Yes, I know.
So I'm so happy about that. And of course, this time has flown by. I have loved this conversation. Please tell everybody where they can find and follow you, how they can get their hands on the book, and then we will make our personal plans for world domination, you and
Yes.
I, and tell everybody where they can find us there.
I love that. So you can find me very actively on social media, on Instagram, Bianca D'Alessio, on LinkedIn, my website, biancadalessio.com. And the book is Mastering Intentions, 10 Practices to Amplify Your Power and Lead with Lasting Impact. And you can buy it on Amazon or anywhere books are sold.
Fantastic. We will link everything down in the show notes, and be on the lookout, listener. This is not the last time we will be together.
This was so fun.
Thank you so much, Bianca. I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. As always, any links or notes mentioned can be found at phineaswrighthouse.com in the podcast section of our site or in the show notes below. And if you haven't connected with me personally, come find me on Instagram at Phineas Wrighthouse and let me know you listened to this episode. I'd love to get to know you. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I know your days are full, and I'm really grateful that you chose to spend some of your precious time right here. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of these delightful conversations. I'll see you next week.